All right. Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 5, Episode 109. Saturday morning. We go home today and just leaving to go to the casino. It is a lot nicer day. It is cloudy, but temperatures are probably in the mid high 50s, low 60s, somewhere in there. And just heading out to this place. And we're going to take a quick lap, and then we're going to take a drive about an hour and a half to our first stop of the day, where we're going to be working on a big slot play. And hopefully we hit it within, I don't know, half an hour, 15 minutes. But if not, it could go on for quite a while. So hoping for the best on that. Yesterday, good day, learned a lot of stuff, a lot of things happened, but today we're going to build on that and get better. I'm going to make this one brief right now because I'm just walking in, and I'll come back and update you. Alright, well, get through security. I wanted to mention yesterday, I was saying, what did I eat? We ate very little yesterday. We had a chicken biscuit in the morning. I forgot about that. And then we had biscuits and gravy in the afternoon. And that was it. That's all we ate, like 1,000 calories, 1,500 calories, probably 1,200 calories the whole day at the most. So we got to watch for that, make sure that we take care of ourselves and we eat well today. Casino looks pretty bare. I haven't seen just one person. So I don't expect to find too much here, but hopefully we do. So, all right, let's take a quick lap here, and we got to get out of here. I'll be back. All right, guys, as I'm coming to the final area here to look, it's been okay. It's been pretty anemic, really, but what did you expect? I didn't go to the room till pretty late, and I mean, they're still finding small plays, nothing major, but just gonna look at these last couple. Good morning. How you doing?
It's a favor. Can
Yeah.
I see your ID so I can scan it? They told me that they didn't get to scan you in at the door, and I apologize for that. So we ID everyone that looks over 60?
Over 60?
Under 60.
I'll just wait. It's okay.
So you don't want to produce an ID?
I'm a 7-star, but I don't know. I'll just
Okay.
It's not a big deal. I don't know what to do. I'll check out and I'll go home. Why would you do that to people?
So again, I explained the policy, and I was called to get your ID to put under the camera to identify who you are. You don't look to see you 60. So yeah, they called me to come in.
It's a funny number, but okay. I appreciate it. It's your policy. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll go home.
All right. You have a good one.
Okay. I don't know if you guys heard all that or not, but they ID anyone under 60. And obviously, they saw me looking at stuff, and they wanted my ID so they could, like, tell me to leave, so we're not doing that, so let's get out of here. Wow, that is unbelievable. Let's get out of here first, then we'll talk. Alright, that was pretty insane. I don't know how much of that you heard, but they say they ID anyone under 60, and they forgot to ID me at the door. Well, I was the only one walking in at the time. There was nobody else around. And there was one guy at the desk and said hello, and I walked in. That's a bunch of garbage. They saw me checking, and they wanted to do some kind of eviction, so that's fine. Let's get to the room and get out of here. It's kind of insane. They treat people like that. That's unbelievable. I was there for 15 minutes, checked 6-7 machines. That was it. Briefly checked. So, whatever. We get out of here. Let's get back up to the room. Wow, that is insane. She came up to me so nice. Hello, how are you? Can I see your ID? They forgot to check it at the door. We check everyone under 60. I said, well, I'm over 60. But that's okay, don't worry about it. Okay, I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back and we're in a pretty big storm here, heading to our next casino. And of course, as soon as I start recording, the water starts splashing everywhere. But yeah, we're still about a half hour away right now from our next stop. And storm is pretty bad. It's delaying us a little bit, but not too bad. We should still be fine. And we're going to be playing some slots today, so that's our target. And we're, hopefully we have some good variants. So just wanted to pop in and let you know. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So we got to this place. It was such bad weather. The roads were so bad. Everything was flooded. I mean, cars were like all over the road. I mean, it got really bad. 65 and 70 mile an hour roads were down at like 45 miles an hour. Huge patches of water. Both sides of the road flooded. I mean, it was bad. We were walking into this place, walking on the grass, and it was like 3 inches of water on the grass. It was that bad. Got in here. We had our place set. We knew what we were going to do. We figured out money-wise how we were going to do it, where we're going to go. My job is this, your job is that. We each did our own thing, and then we met up and did the play, and we were in and out in 5 minutes, and getting paid right now, and overall ended up ahead about 4,500. So good play, in and out, and just waiting for him to go through and get his money, and should be fine. So all good. Then we're going to grab some breakfast and then figure out what we're going to do from there. But we didn't expect it to happen this fast, but very fortunate that it happened that way. And it's nice when a plan works like that. I mean, we were a little bit worried about it because it's something that we haven't done here before. We didn't know the exact dynamics of the area, but it all ended up working out. So right now, I'm going to let you go, get this stuff cashed, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, just got to our next spot here. Just dropped off my friend and just finding a parking spot and get in here. We got some free food while we were at the casino because they comped them give them some comp money. So we had some breakfast there and left there. Sorry, I already took my seatbelt off early. Left there. It's still raining outside. Put this back on here. Still raining outside. Just got to our next casino. We're gonna hop in here, take a look around. Probably won't be here too long. I only have a few hours before I have to start heading to the airport, so hopefully we find a few more things to play here before we have to call it a day. Also have everything in the car. It's like spread out all over the place, unorganized, so I've got to get everything packed up and get the car returned and all that stuff. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. Looking for a parking spot and having a hard time finding one on a Saturday morning. This guy, I don't care. All right. So hopefully, man, find me a parking spot. All right. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. So this is way later. Just gonna kind of discuss what's happened. We finished up at that place. That place is a bigger casino. Walked around, looked at some things, discussed some things that my friend is working on. Looked at the casino. He took down some information, and then we went to the car. He noticed that he still had a voucher from one of the nearby places, but there wasn't enough time. Oh, shoot, which way am I going here? There wasn't enough time to go there and to get it cashed. So we ended up just going to the airport because we needed to drop off the car at a certain time, but my flight was delayed, and his flight was later on, so we had a lot of time. So we ended up sitting there for about over 2 hours, just kind of discussing everything and ideas that he has and plans that we have and things like that. And it was actually really good, really interesting. Man, talk about surrounding yourself with some really good people. This is a good person and has a lot of good information, good ideas, decent person, hardworking person, and that's the kind of person that you want to have around you, because right now the only way to make money is to be different and to have other ways of doing it than everyone else, because everyone's doing all the same things, and there's just not enough there for everybody to live off of. So we talked there for a long time. While I was there, got something to drink, got a yogurt, and we had this morning when we had that play. I got a cheeseburger, so that was good. So I was feeling good. I was feeling energetic and everything, but there really wasn't that much more that we could do. So I ended up flying out. Just landed at my first stop, and we're gonna be here for about 2 hours. I missed my connecting flight because the other flight was delayed. So now we're going to have a 2-hour layover, where before I was going to be rushed anyway. So I got an evening flight, late evening, and then we'll head home from there. And then we're going to have at least one stop once we get home as well. So there's a lot of stuff still going on, a lot of stuff still to happen today. But right now, I'm going to let you go, and I'll come back and update you. Alright guys, I am back, just landed at home, and oh boy, man, oh boy, home sweet home. So glad to be back, gonna get to see my family. Mother's Day is tomorrow. I'm excited about all of it. Overall, the trip was a good trip. Learned a lot, and learned a lot about the area that I was in. Made a lot of headway, talked about a lot of concepts that are important, talked about some future plans. So all these things are all positive things, and we both agreed that doing the same thing that everyone else is doing is not what we need at this point, because things are crowded. If you go through a casino and you just check slots, you're competing with too many people. If you go to a casino and play blackjack, there's too many people doing it. So if a casino's throwing out multiple people a day for doing something, why are you still doing it? So you need to find alternatives, things that they don't think about, whether it's a game that they don't think about or something that they don't think is beatable. And you need to be creative and find better ways to make money. So we'll just leave it at that. There were some interesting things that happened on the trip. For one, we went to one casino and sat down at the table and played one hand, and that we're already getting heat. And it wasn't because another casino tipped them off. It was just like they figured it out right away, like instantly. So that was really, really interesting. Not unheard of, because the method that was being used was something that, if you're well trained, you should be able to see. But that was a shock, to say the least. Went to some other casinos and had a real easy time doing advanced things, and it was actually entertaining and exciting to do something different. Kept you on your toes, and kept you thinking about how much can you get away with without being discovered. And it became such an easy situation, because instead of figuring out how can I beat the casino, you're figuring out how much can I beat the casino for. And for the amount of money that I brought with me, the risk of ruin was zero. if I had a quarter of the money with me that I had, the risk of ruin would still be zero. And so that's really, really exciting too, that the swings that you're going to make are lower on the downside and bigger on the upside, and that's really nice. So and we actually got to talk to other people sitting at the table, talk to the dealers, talk to the pit. Very light-hearted. I mean, there wasn't really any kind of heat. Now, there was one point where we went back to a place and we thought we had heat, and it was kind of interesting. For one thing, we were trying to get back before a certain time, and as soon as we got back, they changed everything. Like, we sat down and then they changed everything, and it made us think, why did they just do this? And then later on, as we were talking, we kind of reasoned it out that it could have been this other reason why, and it made a lot of sense. We actually thought of a couple different things that it could have been, and it made a lot of sense. Next, there was a situation where the pit was looking at us, like staring at us when we got back. We were like, what is going on? Well, when we got back to this table, we'd been gone for about 4 hours, and the guy at third base was still there 4 hours later, and he was down a bunch of money, and he was drunk and all this stuff, so they could have been looking at him. And then we sat at the table, and he's like, welcome back to the table, you know, all that kind of stuff, and he was complaining about losing, but he wasn't playing, so I don't know if they were talking about maybe ejecting him because he's just sitting there taking a seat and he's not playing. But then also there was two other things going on at the same time. On the other side of the pit, someone had just won a jackpot, and they were working on that frantically. All the pit was working on that. Dang it, I hate how they changed this road here. Now what do I do? Dang it. Man, that was the worst way to change this road. Anyway, they were working on the payout for that, so they were rushing around back there. And then there was another situation at the same time where there was a man who had caused some kind of a problem on the other side, and they were dealing with that guy, trying to figure out how they were going to get rid of him or talk to him, or something was going to have to happen. So all those things were going on at the same time, and it seemed like it was heat. I sat down at the table, and I think I played 2 hands, and just like a tiny bet, 2 hands, and got up and left. And later on, we kind of reasoned it out, and it seems like maybe we were wrong about it, but we didn't want to have a problem, so that happened. So there were 2 places where we kind of backed ourselves off. One of them was a real situation, because I heard the pit talking about what was going on at our table. They had walked away from the table and were on a cell phone discussing what was going on at the table. So that one was real, and the other one seemed really real, but it wasn't real, most likely. We went to a couple casinos that we were able to play a long time and 0 heat, and we kept thinking there's gonna have to be heat, and there was no heat. And it was interesting because there was a pit boss that kept falling asleep, like standing on his feet, and he kept closing his eyes, and the other pit boss would have to like nudge him. And it's like the craziest thing that something like that would happen, that someone has to wake up the pit boss who's supposed to be watching us. But interestingly, he was leaning against the podium facing us when he was doing this. So if you were looking at him from the wrong angle, you might think he's staring at us, but then if you look closely, you'd see his eyes were closed. And then his partner, other pit boss in that pit, was an older guy, and he seemed like he knew more about what he was doing, but he had no clue. And then we also had another situation. So many things were happening at the same time, and it was hard for me to put it into words when we're leaving a casino and trying to hustle out of there and move on to the next place. And there were a lot of police in that area too, so be careful about how you're driving and all that, directions. But there was another situation where there was a guy at the table who it seemed like was an advantage player, but he was playing things so badly you wonder what the heck he was doing. And it seemed to us like maybe he wasn't a very good AP and would just go over the deep end and just start doing stupid stuff, because at one point he basically just lost his stack for no reason. And then when we came back, he was there, and another day he was there, and then another day from a while back he was there. So it seemed like this guy was an advantage player, but he was playing rated and wasn't getting backed off. So is he really an advantage player? Is he actually winning money or not winning money, or what the heck is going on? So so many of these different things were happening at the same time, and we were trying to make sense of all that and see if we had real heat or fake heat or what, and we were learning something new, and we had to discover a bunch of things on our own. So all these different things were happening, and it was actually an exciting thing to do. It was also very exhausting to learn something new and on the fly go to different places that you don't know anything about. You don't know their policies, you don't know their tolerance level, you don't know anything, and you're trying to pull off this thing that you've never done before in a place that you've never been to before in an area that you've never played before. So yeah, it was actually kind of cool to do that, and now we have a lot more knowledge, and I have to kind of let it simmer for a while, and I need to start taking more notes about ideas about this situation so that we can do this again and actually do it better. But we did talk about some other projects that we could work on together, and I like that, and they were all good things, away from card counting, away from all those stresses, and actually be able to possibly make more money with less variance and things like that. So we'll keep it at that. Yeah, man, I really needed this trip, and although we didn't make $1 million, we did really well and covered our expenses and made good money. And I know next time it's going to be at least twice that much. So very pleased about all that. Let's do some segments here real quick. And we still have one more stop that we're going to, so don't go away just yet. What did you eat today, MW? So this morning, I got thrown out of this casino, basically. This lady's saying if you're under 60, we need to ID you, and they forgot to ID you at the door. But I'm like, I've been here for 4 days, and you never ID'd me before. Nobody in front of me, nobody behind me got ID'd, so I know this is a bunch of garbage. And she said, well, we ID everyone under 60, and I said I'm over 60, which of course I'm not. And then she was like, I mean over, I mean under. She didn't know what to say anymore, so it was all a bunch of baloney. So I got out of there in a hurry, but I didn't get food because I was getting food from there each morning for breakfast. And now thinking back, knowing how sweaty they are, I shouldn't have done it that way because I actually used the card. I should have just paid cash if I was going to even buy any food. So lesson learned there. They didn't know who I was, and I don't think they know now, so everything is okay, but I learned a lesson there. But so when we went to our first stop today and had that play, that worked out absolutely stunningly, beautifully, better than either of us expected, and the profit was way more than expected. We actually had breakfast there, and he had like eggs and bacon and stuff like that, but I actually had a cheeseburger, and it was decent. It was pretty good, but you know, I'm really gonna redo my diet and really change, because I don't need to eat at those places. There's got to be better snacks to take with me. Even beef jerky is better than that stuff, because like an hour later my stomach was rolling and stuff, and it's just not a good situation to be in the middle of an area that you don't know anything about, and you know, have some kind of a, you know, stomach problem. So I give the cheeseburger like an 8 on a scale of 2 through 8. And then this evening I went to Wendy's at this airport, and I had a Dave's single cheeseburger. The price was actually reasonable. It was probably like 50 cents more than it is at the actual branches, but I mean, everything's already expensive, but it was just terrible. I took a picture of it, and it's like, it looks like something from a gas station. This is supposed to be Dave's single. Dave would take his name off it if he saw it, you know? So I'm going to give that a 4 on a scale of 2 through 8. And what did you tip today, MW? Okay, so this is actually interesting. And we made like $4,500 on this play, and we tipped $0 on this play. Zero. Now on the food that we got, the cheeseburger and the breakfast, I tipped $5. It was like a $30 thing, and it was a quick thing and all that, so that's not a big deal. But we tipped 0 on the big money. And what did you learn today, MW? Too much stuff to even list. So much stuff. Just a lot to think about. Learned so many new things. Saw so many new things. And I think this could be the beginning of a new chapter, and I hope it is, because I need a little bit of rest in my mind. Because right now my mind is working like nonstop. And I do need to have a little peace in my brain, and still be able to make a reasonable amount of money so I can make a living. So right now we are continuing on to our next stop, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, just leaving this place, and it's really busy. Not a lot of opportunity, but we still managed to make a little bit of money. Ended up leaving ahead $100, so exactly $100, and we're gonna head home. We're gonna see the family, and we'll pick up on this whenever. Probably not tomorrow, even though tomorrow is Sunday. Today was Saturday, and we normally don't play Saturday, so don't expect that there's gonna be an episode tomorrow. I'll probably catch up with you guys on Monday. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com. mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.